Now, there is no doubt about it that by far the two most anticipated Star Wars TV series is, of course, the KENOBI series and the Ahsoka Tano TV show for Disney+, which, by the way, debuts in 2023. We also have a handful of other Star Wars projects out there as well that are in different phases of development. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing that Jon, George, and Dave have been up to is, of course, a lot to do with a lot of the Star Wars canon and Star Wars legends, and exactly how they're going to be able to make that coexist in a sense, to combine it all into the new canon, and exactly how they're going to be able to approach all of this with a realistic view. Now, we already know that Legends is going to have a big comeback with, of course, a lot of the highlights from Star Wars Legends making its way into all of these different stories, right? Such as the Thrawn trilogy books, the New Jedi Order books, as well as Shadows of the Empire and more. All of that is set to actually be cherry-picked and implanted into shows like The Mandalorian, the Ahsoka series, and more. So, on top of all of this, we already know that Jon and Dave have been working hard on multiple projects. I mean, one of the newer projects is, of course, Tales of the Jedi. In case you guys did not know, this is an animated Star Wars TV show. That's an anthology series. We'll tap into that a little bit later, and what exactly involves that in conjunction with what we're about to talk about. Now, on top of all of this, we already know that Jon, George, and Dave, they're very busy, they're working around the clock, they are trying to make sure that Star Wars can thrive and survive, and they are really kind of trying to hold back on a lot of the announcements in one shot. They want to announce more things in phases, and this is exactly what I said. You know, at Celebration, we would get some announcements here and there, and then by this fall, more announcements come. Then the next Celebration is the big one. That's where a lot of Star Wars TV shows are really going to debut. So on top of all of this, what's really intriguing is that with many new Star Wars TV shows and movies now currently in the works over at Lucasfilm, creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are actively developing and are involved with new shows that will be announced in the near future for the Star Wars fandom. Now, it's described, however, that currently Jon Favreau is working on something very special for the fans that has a lot to do with fan-favorite characters, where it's actually described, of course, that one project that is currently in the works is described to be a live-action anthology series for multiple Star Wars shorts that will be considered canon to the Star Wars franchise. Now, this is described to essentially be an elongated version of course, Tales of the Jedi, except in live-action form, that will feature over 10 different short stories that will add to the Star Wars canon. This anthology series is being written by Jon Favreau and will be directed by Dave Filoni, and that series, of course, is being written by Jon Favreau and, of course, directed by Dave Filoni in other different aspects. Now, currently, it's dubbed simply as The Circle of the Wills. These are stories that are of course, told by the godlike beings watching over the galaxy that will tell the Star Wars fandom's stories about the past before the Skywalker saga, within it, and even after. Characters such as Palpatine, Plagueis, Dooku, even Darth Nihilus are set to be involved in the series. One major episode that will be a part of this anthology series is set to feature Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni showing fans the training that Palpatine goes under by Darth Plagueis and his teachings. This too will be told in another project dubbed simply as Project House. However, the anthology series is set to go more in depth for all of this. The series is set to also expand the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi, showing fans his early life on his home world, when first discovering his Force sensitivity and abilities, and revealing to fans more about his family. This anthology series is also going to touch on characters based from the Old Republic era, such as Darth Revan, Nihilus, and even the story of Darth Bane's rule of two and more to arrive in the future as well. Let me just stop right here for a second. Now, in case you guys are a little confused as to what an anthology series really is, essentially each and every episode is going to be a story of its own, based on a different character. And they are aiming to make this basically the live-action version of Tales of the Jedi. So Tales of the Jedi, I don't know if you guys saw the actual announcement a couple of days ago at Star Wars Celebration. It is going to be a 10-part anthology series, showing us the childhood of Ahsoka Tano and her family, showing us the light side of Count Dooku as a prime example, and a lot more to arrive in Tales of the Jedi. It's all about the prequel trilogy characters, by the way, in case you guys did not know about that. Now, on top of this, with Tales of the Jedi already aimed to become as successful as the Clone Wars, it's going to be pretty much significant as the Clone Wars TV show. That's what they really want to do. So on top of all of that, alright, this is where things begin to really pick up, is that, with that being said, of course, this anthology series is described and aimed to be a multi-season show. With Tales of the Jedi as its animated counterpart, this live-action version will be meant for fans that specifically love live action. Both Jon and Dave are excited about the new series that they are currently developing, as it is going to be a 1-hour episode each, with over 10 different episodes to start, so that's over 10. Other stories that are already pre-planned for this series involves characters like a young Count Dooku this time around, before he turned to the dark side, just as he will be done in Tales of the Jedi. This will also be done in live-action form in this show as well. So far, the code name for the series is the Circle of the Whills, because George Lucas wants these stories to be told by the Whills, who are the gods that created not just the galaxy but the entire universe and Star Wars lore. Favreau and Filoni will be hiring key voice actors to voice the Whills, telling these stories about the Jedi, Sith, and the dark side and the light side of the Force to the fans. Let me just stop and say one thing right now, is that I think that title is brilliant. I don't know about you, but the Circle of the Whills is brilliant. I don't know if it's a callback to something specific with George Lucas, but I don't know if you guys studied anything about the brain and medical stuff about the brain, but in there you have a vascular system called the Circle of Willis. Something tells me that they kind of got it from that. It might be a little outlandish, but it sounds like it's coming from the Circle of Willis, the Circle of the Whills. That's just what I believe. But anyways, I digress. The thing about George Lucas is that he chose a great title for this. It makes a lot of sense. The fact that Jon and Dave are involved, where the Whills are voicing over this project, telling the fans, you know, basically the stories of all these different characters associated with the light and the dark. I think it's a very brilliant idea. It makes a lot of sense. It almost comes across like somebody's reading a book to us, is what it comes across as. That's how I view it. And I think that this is the best way to incorporate the Whills. You know, when you think about the Whills, you don't really know exactly what they look like in canon just yet, per se. So having them become a voice, in a sense, telling us stories about different events that take place in different eras of the Star Wars universe, it makes a lot of sense. And I think that this is going to be a very powerful series. It's unclear, however, unfortunately, when it's going to drop. They are aiming for a 2024 to 2025 release, but specifics, we don't really know about anything related to that. But look how sudden and, you know, out of nowhere Tales of the Jedi came out. That's coming out this fall, by the way. It is going to be a very successful animated TV show, I can tell you that much, because when you look at the way the animation is done, it's pretty on par with the Clone Wars and Rebels combined. It's got its own kind of style. I don't know how to explain it, but it is like a combination of the two. So overall, guys, you know, I would love to hear what you have to say about the Circle of the Whills, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Nights in the